Good evening and welcome to the Newshour Agenda. I'm Madhavdas. Now, a day after Draupadi Murmu bagged 64% of the votes to become the President of India, the opposition is reeling not as much from the defeat of its candidate Yashwant Sinha as it is from the extra 3% votes that have gone to the NDA nominee. Over 126 MLAs across states have cross-voted, and the biggest victim of this betrayal seems to have been the Congress party. Across 5 states, at least 39 Congress MLAs seem to have gone against the party's line. In Assam, even the party is forced to admit this desertion.
It is very unfortunate that in spite of the possibility of getting 37 votes, the opposition candidate in presidential elections in Assam got only 20 votes. And we Congress had 24 members. So it is apparent that at least 4 of our colleagues did not vote.
And the numbers are proof. In fact, repeated assertions by opposition leaders that individual parties stand in the president polls will not hamper their collective prospects when it comes to posing as a challenger to the BJP in 2024 seem ill-founded. Its lack of unity standing exposed. The opposition, however, continues to be in denial, pointing fingers at the BJP instead.
As cross-voting is concerned, there was a lot of pressure. Income tax raid, ED, that has also impacted. And apart from it, that she belongs to tribal community. So I think that tribal representative across the party might have voted in her favor. So in a way, it's not bad also, in the sense that for the first time the opportunity was being given to a tribal lady, a tribal person, to become President of India.
इस चुनाव के समय भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कुछ नेताओं का दावा था कि एनसीपी और कांग्रेस के विधायक क्रॉस वोटिंग करेंगे, लेकिन जब आंकड़े सामने आए तो हमें दिख रहा है कि एनसीपी और कांग्रेस के किसी भी विधायक ने क्रॉस वोटिंग नहीं की। हमारे सारे विधायकों ने हमारे उम्मीदवार श्री यशवंत सिन्हा जी को ही मतदान किया। भारतीय जनता पार्टी का यह प्रयास है कि महाराष्ट्र में एनसीपी और कांग्रेस के विधायक फूटे, उनमें गुट पड़ जाए, लेकिन हमारे सारे विधायक हमारे साथ हैं।
And even as the anti-BJP bloc was recovering from the presidential poll jolt, TMC pulled the rug from under its feet. Dubbing the process of choosing Margaret Alva as undemocratic, TMC MP Abhishek Banerjee said that the party with 35 MPs was left out of the consultative process. Today, reacting to Mamta's party's decision to abstain from voting, Alva appealed for the TMC to not act out of anger and ego. Now, the BJP alleges that even the members of the TMC may have voted for Team BJP.
The most important thing for us that Draupadi Murmu, she won the election, and we were also assured that someone will vote from the TMC because our candidate is so good. Okay, she is like Sachin Tendulkar, so everybody will support her. So as expected, she got lots of vote, more than 60% vote she got. So it is now the duty of the Trinamool Congress or Siddharth of the Trinamool Congress to find out who voted for the Draupadi Murmu.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
So is opposition unity in 2024 just a distant dream? Let's go across to our guests for more on this. We have with us RP Singh, national spokesperson of the BJP. Kailash Adhikari is MD of Governance Now. We also have with us Dr. Shashi Panja, who's a Bengal minister, as well as a spokesperson of the TMC. Sanjay Jha, author, is with us. We also have with us Syed Faisal Ali, senior leader of the RJD. Zeba Yasmin is a national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Let me begin with you, Sanjay Jha, and let me begin by asking you, is now 2024 a distant dream? Because here you have a situation where very clearly not just the 126 MLAs who cross-voted or the 17 MPs, the fact is that an overwhelming number of them, 39 MLAs, are from the Congress party. So if Congress is not able to keep its flock together, and this has happened in the past in Rajya Sabha polls as well, what really is the hope for being able to keep other parties united in 2024?
Madhav, that's a very pertinent question. And that there has been cross-voting cannot be denied. However, we need to take into account 2 points here. Number one, that in the presidential elections, it is actually meant to be a conscience vote. Yes, it's true that a political party will have an informal whip saying that we have decided to support X presidential candidate or Y, but eventually, whether it's an MP or an MLA, they have a right to exercise their own choice, they're of their own volition, which is anyway confidential, number one. The second point is that even in the past, if you look at what the Shiv Sena did when it was part of the NDA, it voted for Mr. Pranab Mukherjee when he was the UPA candidate for president, as well as in the time of when Srimati Pratibha Patil became president. So once again, political parties do break away. But your question is extremely relevant because this is a time when the opposition is being tested. And I'm not going to deny that I think the statements being made by the various parties appear to be, to some extent, born out of a little parochial, narrow standpoint. This is not the time to sit on ceremony or whether you were invited or whether you were consulted. I'm sure people were called. I can tell you I've been in politics long enough to know that invitations are sent. There is no deliberate attempt
Last
to keep
minute
somebody
invitation,
out.
no consultation. That's the TMC's charge.
Yeah.
So Congress will play Big Brother. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm just going to say, no, the Congress won't play Big Brother. I'm just saying that the Congress, in fact, is supporting Mr. Yashwant Sinha, who, by the way, happened to be an ex-TMC leader, a very senior leader of the TMC, ex-BJP. But I don't think the Congress at any point of time played churlish. So I think the Congress has definitely exhibited political accommodation. But I think all political parties in the opposition need to come and coalesce together. And I do agree with you that they have a challenge.
Okay.
Whether it will be met by
Let me bring in the TMC. In fact, we'll go back to this entire point of cross-voting in just a minute. Since you've raised the point of the TMC and why they've been so impatient, let me bring in the TMC spokesperson who's also with us, Dr. Shashi Panja. Why should parties be a little, the allegation coming in from Sanjay Jha is perhaps looking at it from a parochial point of view, looking at it from a narrow point of view. It's not the time to actually put your ego out. You have to keep that at bay when it comes to an alliance like this. Why then, for the sake of opposition unity, and if this is the kind of unity that we are seeing today, what will happen in 2024? The question remains to you as well.
Of course, we are working for opposition unity, and Mamata Banerjee has also spearheaded while the presidential poll candidate was being decided. But it is not about how Sanjay Jha is kind of setting the narrative or the interpretation, or maybe sometimes even BJP or other people do, or other parties, or sometimes even the media anchors are trying to say as if we are into some kind of a tacit understanding with BJP. Everything, all kinds of these interpretations.
No, I never said
rather
that.
Wrong.
All we are saying is if you can't stand together for vice presidential polls, how will you stand together in 2024? I think it's a very fair question. Because you have broken away very clearly from the UPA and what the Congress is saying. So I think it's a very fair and pertinent question. Nobody is accusing you of doing anything at the behest of BJP.
By not supporting the opposition candidate does not mean that the TMC does not support opposition unity. You see, we very clearly, our All India General Secretary of the All India Trinamool Congress, Abhishek Banerjee, I think in very clear terms mentioned yesterday in the press conference, very clear, and I think most of you have covered it, and that there was certain differences in the sense that, Congress has allied parties. But we are not an ally of Congress. We are a like-minded party. So you need to treat, I'm not saying directly to Congress or the others. Everybody needs to understand in the opposition platform that you have to be treated as equals. Secondly, there were certain candidates that we also had had in mind, but somehow the ultimate zeroing in was done in a very quick with very less time, and we did mention that 21st of July was a very important program of ours. It is very important, highly politically significant also, and that somehow there was a kind of a hurry in the last minute. Believe me and believe us that we have nothing against any of the candidates.
Okay.
So there is no, even during the presidential poll.
But Margaret Alba has appealed to you. She has appealed that keep aside ego and such issues and support me. That's been her appeal.
We hold
if I can sum it up.
We hold her in high esteem, and we hold her in, we really respect her. But somehow we are objecting to the process where we were not deliberated with.
Okay. Let me quickly bring in the BJP now on this. Let me quickly bring in RP Singh. RP Singh, we are seeing, of course, cracks in the opposition. They're quite wide out there in the open. But did the BJP even believe that the 61.98% votes that you would have got with the support of Shiv Sena and JMM would in fact touch 64, the extra 2 to 3% votes that have been received? Would that have been possible without opposition unity, without opposition cross-voting? I beg your pardon.
Well, Zaka, it depends on
Madhav.
candidate to candidate, and Mr. Yashwant Sinha appealed for the conscious people. Yashwant Sinha appealed for the conscious vote, and then people, the MLAs and the MPs voted as per their conscience. So, see, again, you can have unity, you can show unity, you can bring all set of parties together, but do MLAs and MPs go by your orders? I mean, don't they have their own mind? Don't they have their own will, whether which side to vote or which candidate to pick, which candidate not to pick? And in this 75th year of the independence, and what could have been a better message than this? What has been given now, that first tribal woman is the president of the country, and then this is message not for India, this message for the democracies worldwide, and all countries worldwide, that yes, in India democracy is vibrant, and party MLAs and MPs vote across the board, above the party whips, keeping in mind that what is more important for the country.
All right. The allegation, though, has been, Yashwant Sinha has time and again said, RP Singh, he said that there has been horse trading, a game of money was involved in the electoral race, and that government agencies were used. How do you respond to these charges, RP Singh?
Well, Yashwant Sinha is a learned person. He should immediately go to the nearest police station, put his evidence, take his people whom the money has been given or horse trading has been done, and then take them as evidence and file a case immediately. I mean, he should not delay this. Because of what he said, because he said so, people repelled against him on this version of his. When he said, oh, money has been exchanged hand, and then people are being bought, and there's a horse trading happening. That's why MLA said that we are not horses. We have our own conscience to vote for the right candidate.
Okay, let me bring in the RJD on that. Syed Faisal Ali, there was no horse trading. If there is any allegation or any proof, why not go and file a complaint, file a police case and take action? This statement of Mr. Yashwant Sinha has cost him, says the BJP spokesperson.
Madhav, first of all, I would like to say that as far as my party, Rashtriya Janata Dal, is concerned, there was no cross-voting either in Bihar, neither in Bihar nor in the parliament. Having said that, despite all these tall claims of cross-voting and horse trading and whatnot, the vote percentage of Draupadi Murmu is still less than what Ramnath Kovind got in 2017. She has got 2 percentage points lower than Ramnath Kovind. So the BJP has to reply, BJP has to answer how, despite all these 126 MLAs and 17 MPs voting, cross-voting, why her percentage marks is lower than Ramnath Kovind. If I remind you, your viewer, Ramnath Kovind got 7 lakh.
Sir, does it really matter when they won the election? The point is that your own camp of the opposition is in complete disarray today. We are debating that.
I find it a little more exaggerated. It is exaggerated. I think the cross-voting mark is exaggerated, numbers are exaggerated. Secondly, the unity
it's not 126.
The opposition unity, never in the history of India where you can measure. I doubt it. Then the answer has to come from the BJP. Why the number has come down? 40,000 value vote has decreased. How she has got less vote than Ramnath Kovind despite large number of cross-voting?
Respond to that, RP Singh.
And again, Meera Kumar got 3 lakh something votes, and Yashwant Sinha has still got more votes than Meera Kumar, 3 lakh and 80,000 votes.
Okay, quick response, RP Singh, quick response.
And careful analysis.
Okay, quick response.
Secondly, you cannot measure...
Thank you. This doesn't deserve... Well...
Finish, Madhav.
RP Singh, go on.
Please finish. Well, this doesn't have any response. I mean, it's so foolish. I mean, what he's talking about? I mean, Draupadi Murmu has won elections with cross-voting. We know the people across the party has voted. People from the Congress party also have voted.
6,000 value vote.
And people have from various parties have voted for her. As per their conscious call.
We congratulate Draupadi Murmu, but the figure speaks against her. As far as the
you should have voted. You should have asked your party to vote. Tejasvi, what did Tejasvi Yadav said? What did Tejasvi Yadav said about Draupadi ji? What did Tejasvi Yadav say about Draupadi ji? You should first apologize for that. First, Tejasvi Yadav should apologize
to
Adivasis of this country, to women of this country. What Mr. Tejasvi Yadav said about Draupadi ji?
What your leaders call whole of the opposition every day, gentlemen. Don't go into that.
Okay. Let me girlfriend
and those things.
Okay, gentlemen, let me come in here. Let me quickly bring in Zeba Yasmin, who's a spokesperson of Samajwadi Party. Let me put across one question. All right, I think there's one pertinent question coming out from there. Zeba Yasmin, the BJP says that it was an opportunity to send out a message in the 75th year of independence that yes, a tribal candidate and a woman at that is being made the president of the country, and this is an opportunity that the opposition lost. This is the charge coming in from the BJP. Please respond to that.
Why this emotional pressure is being put on Samajwadi Party or the opposition? See, it is our right to field a candidate, and we did that. We did not do anything which is against the constitution, right? And every time, it is the 15th president we are having, every 15 times we had, only once we had an unopposed president. So why so discussions going on that opposition should have supported Murmu ji? We congratulate Draupadi Murmu ji I congratulate on behalf of my party. Personally, being a female, I congratulate her. But yes, Yashwant Sinha gave a very good fight. He fought very well. He brought good votes. And as BJP is exaggerating the matter, it is a historical win. I don't think it's a
Zeba Yasmin, may I tell you why I'm asking you that question? The question is being asked because the opposition's own MLAs and MPs seem to have cross-voted in a huge number. 126 is a sizable number. We're not talking about 1 or 2 or 3 out of 4,000 odd MLAs. There are 126, which seems to be the case that at least either they were not convinced with the candidate or they were more convinced by Draupadi Murmu. What is the reason? We don't know. But there is a huge number of MLAs that the opposition parties have not been able to keep together.
I'll
and also
the
fact that the flock is not together. The TMC has broken away when it comes to VP polls.
See, gone are the days when MLA and MPs used to talk about ethics and all. Now only two other reasons why MLA and MPs, they cross-vote. It is either they are lured with high amount or they are under pressure. These are the two reasons. We saw the same story happened in Maharashtra and the same happened here. Let's not discuss. It's very clear.
Okay, MLAs were lured. Kailash Adhikari, does that explain it all?
Not at all, Madhav. Firstly, this entire cross-voting, as you mentioned, 126 MLAs, 17 MPs is a large number if you look at the entire number put together. And this clearly exhibits two things. First, extreme weakness of the principal opposition party, honestly, and that explains the reason why their opposition unity cannot be there. And also the fact that, in the vice presidential election, TMC, which is an important regional party having 35 member of parliaments in both the houses together, is abstaining from that election. Secondly, also, Madhav, regional parties have their own calculations when while voting for a candidate. Like, for example, the JMM from Jharkhand. Now, India Wildest Dream also, they couldn't, even though they are not an ally of the Bharatiya Janata Party, but India Wildest Dreams also, they cannot vote for Yashwant Sinha ji, naturally, because we all know the reasons. But, apart from these two reasons, what is more important here is that the principal opposition party must have some sort of an introspection about how they are going to lead ahead. If they feel that the entire opposition to get together to give a tough fight to the Bharatiya Janata Party, then I don't see that happening even in the next 2 years.
And let me take this across to another important question. Somewhere or the other, Sanjay Jha, when we are looking at such an issue, the question that will arise is whether it is the leadership of the Prime Minister at a time like this. Is it the fact that we don't see a similar sort of face that inspires confidence, that manages to get all the opposition parties together to rally behind and, of course, stay united if they have to take on the BJP? We've always talked about the index of opposition unity. The minute that goes low, it is, of course, advantage BJP.
Once again, Madhav, a very relevant question. But, if you really break down into granular detailing, you'll realize that the BJP chose a candidate in Mrs. Murmu who probably was, able to kind of appeal across political parties. Now, let me tell you that any sensible, ordinary Indian in our country will be happy with the fact that somebody who is part of the tribal community in India, which we all know has been getting a raw deal and has been, essentially relegated to the backyards of India's political and social emancipation, if they get a representation at the highest, office in the land, that has to be applauded. So in a way, the choice of the candidate, although I have enormous respect in what Mr. Yashwant Sinha brings to the table, is a very distinguished politician in my opinion. But I think, end of the day, if you look at Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, which is again a Congress ally, and I don't think Naveen Patnaik's party, although I found one Mr. Patnaik on your show who was, sounding very self-righteous and sanctimonious and saying they're doing the right thing. But the truth is that the BJP politically neutralized them. So, end of day, it's a smart choice of a candidate, undoubtedly. Okay. Although I always believe... And
I think that question, that's a pertinent question, because even the TMC in the middle, and let me put this question across to Shashi Panja, somewhere is there some truth in what Mr. Sanjay Jha is saying? Because we saw a statement coming out from the TMC, quite surprisingly, given the fact that Mr. Yashwant Sinha was originally with the TMC, that if we had known earlier that this was the candidate, we perhaps would have had a different decision. That statement also came out, madam, after the announcement of Draupadi Murmu. So was the TMC also seen to be a little wary once Draupadi Murmu's name came? And do you feel that it is the appeal that Sanjay Jha talks about that has actually lured all of these MLAs who voted on a conscience vote for Draupadi Murmu?
No, Madhavji, don't you think that it was a foregone conclusion that the NDA presidential candidate would win? We know that. But yes, as even the Samajwadi Party spokesman said, that we all have authority and we have a rights to place our candidate. Now, BJP had not, NDA had not announced its candidate. It was so confident and it really wanted on board everybody, just like they are saying. They announced the candidate only after they heard the name of the candidate announced from the opposition platform. And that too, to be very candid about it, we had the previous three choices who had not agreed, and then Yashwantji said, even if I'm the fourth choice, I'm going in for it. So BJP or NDA never came out with its name if it really wanted everybody to be on board. So much to what Mr. Singh is saying, we disagree with that. And as we said, yes, we fought on a platform with candidates, and we all congratulated on Draupadi Murmu being the first tribal president.
Okay, there was no attempt. There was no honest attempt at outreach, Mr. RP Singh. Direct charge on you. Direct charge on the centre and the ruling party.
Well, Madhav, before I answer that, let me make a small point on what this Majwadi leader said. Shivpal Yadav is your leader. You think money can exchange hand and Shivpal Yadav can be bought over? Shahjil Islam, even Mulayam Singh Yadav you need to check on. So just putting a false propaganda or saying whatever you want to say for heck of it, don't do that. But coming to the reaching out to opposition, we reached out to opposition. We said this is the first time in Indian history that we will have a Draupadi Murmu ji as an Adivasi woman as a president. Let's come forward and vote for her. Our president, party president and party leaders has approached each and every party.
You could have announced the name before.
And we have made a request to each and every party. We have made a request to each and every party.
So you made the request. Okay, that's a question coming in from Dr. Shashi Panja, that request was made after the name was announced.
After the name.
So why wasn't it done before? That's a question to you. Please answer.
No. Obviously, we will only make a request after we have finalized the candidate. we can't make a request without a candidate. So we made a request even after we finalized a candidate. And there are parties who were part of the UPA, they didn't voted for Sinha Sahab and voted for Draupadi Murmu ji. Even after the UPA candidate was announced, and our candidate was announced later.
RP Singh ji, you are well aware that the NDA platform leaders were reaching out to opposition parties, saying that come support, come be with us. But they would never, and when we asked who is your candidate, you never revealed it. So you were trying to reach out. You were trying to reach out individually to one or two parties before you announced. So what was the great idea? You were not coming out with the announcement if you really wanted everybody on board. And really, this goes on record that Yashwant Sinha ji is also, ever since presidential elections took place in this country, that he's the third highest percentage of votes that he's acquired.
Okay.
So there is a question. I mean, you people were saying it was going to touch 70%. The BJP was claiming it didn't touch 70%. And he has also won with the highest number of votes, third highest.
Okay.
You see, an average opposition candidate was getting 22% votes.
Right.
He's got much more than that.
I think we need to come back to the issue at hand, which is, of course, the issue that we are discussing, the split within the opposition ranks itself. And let me bring in fact, Syed Faisal Ali on this. Syed Faisal Ali, the question that I have to come back to is this, that opposition unity seems to be completely in tatters. For the vice presidential election, we are not going to see the TMC along with the other candidates and the other parties of the opposition. Opposition parties are going to be fighting it out alone. Now, we all know how presidential election, vice presidential election are really opportunities for opposition to come together, to show the government that they are united, that they can put pressure on important issues. And we're seeing that happen in Parliament, you know, when there is a pressure on GST, on price rise, etc., that opposition is trying to put pressure on the government. The minute there are cracks, then obviously it's going to benefit the government.
Madhav, I hope I will get some time. See, first of all, election and not consensus is the foundation of a healthy democracy. So there is nothing wrong if opposition pitted Yashwant Sinha against Draupadi Murmu. The opposition was united and they stood unitedly with Yashwant Sinha.
What about Margaret Alva, sir?
He lost. We all knew that he will lose. But still, election should have... See, as far as Margaret Alva is concerned, I think negotiation is going on and hopefully TMC will come on board. But as far as regional parties are concerned, they have got their own political compulsions. So we have to keep that in mind. But if you draw this in the conclusion that this election's result, the presidential election
what's the compulsion to oppose Margaret Alva? Because they are saying we are not consulted.
The result or opposition unity. If you talk about compulsion, Madhav, you know what is happening in the country now. They have unleashed a whole lot of agencies against the opposition leaders.
You're saying it's agencies' pressure that is forcing TMC's hand?
Any raid, any invest... Yes,
no, are you saying?
It is happening everywhere. It is happening in Bihar, it is happening in West Bengal, it is happening
Ma'am, that's shocking.
Everywhere,
the RJD spokesperson, Shashi Panja, the RJD spokesperson says it is because of agencies that you are taking such a stand on Margaret Alva. That's a very sensational charge being made by the RJD spokesperson. Please respond.
No, the RGTs, I don't think he meant he was trying to generalize something. He was trying to generalize something, Madhavji. It is definitely, TMC will never be cowed down by institutions.
So you just insinuated that.
No, that will... I don't think he meant that.
Yes,
Probably it just came out.
No,
I think he meant somebody...
What I said that
so TMC is never going to be cowed down by CBI and ED.
Tremendous pressure. Be it TMC, be it RJD, be it Congress, all the political parties are under tremendous pressure.
In West Bengal,
no one can deny that.
Okay,
during the presidential poll elections, they tried.
Yeah. All right. We're almost out of time. Quick closing comments from RP Singh on that. RP Singh, once again, the sensational charge of agencies being misused comes in when there are elections. We've normally seen that charge during assembly polls. This time, of course, the allegation coming up during presidential elections as well. RP Singh, quick response, please.
Well, I said earlier also, if Mr. Yashwant Sinha or the opposition has any proof on this account, they should immediately go to local police station and then file a complaint and let police pursue this one. Secondly, the RJD spokesperson should know that whatever cases Mr. Lalu Yadav or the family is facing much before the NDA came to power, Mr. Modi came to power this term. So you can keep accusing, you can keep doing that, but the fact is that people have started rejecting the parties which have been led by the families. Today, whether it is Abdullahs or whether it is Yadavs, people don't appreciate the parties which are led by the families now.
All right. We'll have to leave it there for the moment. RP Singh, Kailash Adhikari, Dr. Shashi Panja, Sanjay Jha, Syed Faisal Ali and Zeba Yasmin. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us on debate number 1 on the Newshour Agenda.